Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back. This is daily trading analysis with a quick market update. So basically, Nasdaq squeezed to last week high. We did a complete repair from yesterday. That means that all the bad move that we had yesterday to the downside, we basically did a full rotation to the upside, and we are again above 11,431. That's this blue dot line last week high, and we repair all this imbalance that we had yesterday based on Apple and Amazon news. Let's recall, yesterday Amazon reported mixed earnings, EPS beat, revenue missed, and forecasted a weak quarter ahead. However, Apple saved the day. This is yesterday. Let me change the time frame. So yesterday Apple saved the day with beat on top and bottom lines, and the only thing that was quite almost concerning is that iPad revenue, iPhone revenue, and the decrease in demand ahead of Christmas is quite concerning, but I think investors are trusting Apple. Apple is the only one of the big tech companies that is holding the market, and is basically right now is pushing the market up. Something super important is that Apple basically did a super squeeze 8% today, pushing EMA on the daily, 200 EMA and 200 moving average. So we stopped in a very interesting point. This blue line is the 200 moving average. The pink line is the 200 exponential moving average, two of the most important moving averages that investors and traders watch. And it's super important that ahead of next week that Apple is reaching these levels. It's super bullish. So if you were long, congratulations, you had a very nice trade on your hands. And if you were bearish, next time, I think since yesterday, watching Amazon and Apple holding and consolidating overnight and pre-market, I think a lot of shorts were just saying, okay, this is not for me anymore. I think bearish sentiment was overall until this pivot, and once we broke pre-market highs at 11,200, I think most of the people jumped in the train of the bulls, and this is what we are seeing in the Nasdaq. Apart from Nasdaq, dollar is consolidating, is trading sideways. If we check the 2-hour time frame, super important one, we are holding below 111. This morning in the market forecast, I was pointing out that this pivot needed to be resistance. We needed this pivot to keep the price action down. I think it's quite important to maintain this bounce structure, market structure around this level, 110, 111. I think is quite fair price for the dollar. In the daily, we are seeing a bounce of maybe I think it's supply above 109. But overall, I think there is a change in the market for the dollar. We will be seeing some bounces, but this moving average and this ascending support will act as supply zones for the weeks ahead. That's my opinion, because I think earnings were good. People is not longer bullish on dollar based on market structure. I think it is too weak for now to not find supply at these levels. So I think shorts will jump, will start accumulating for the correction overall on the dollar. We might see some bounces, but overall below 110, this level I think is super key. So we might see a bounce next week, consolidate, and then do the final move to the downside. So we will see. What else? 10-year is bouncing again, same as 2-year. They are in the green right now. 2-year is pushing quite a lot, honestly. I didn't expect this much of a push. We check the 15-minute is bouncing from demand zone to supply zone. And one of the things that I'm watching is, I also brought this up in the forecast. This is December yield, and it's at 4.16. So markets are pricing in ahead of next week FOMC interest decision, Fed decision. We are still seeing, let's check it out. We are still pricing in 75 basis points hike, 83% of probability, so it's almost done for next week, and we will be reaching 4%. So if we check December, that's the last interest rate hike that we will be seeing this year, December 1. It's pricing in almost maybe 50 basis points, but I think we will be ranging between 25 and 50. I think that's what markets are pricing in, and I think that's the reason why everyone is super bullish on stocks like Apple, like Amazon, Microsoft. It's almost 3%, Google 274, Nvidia super squeeze 4%. So I think a lot of people is buying this dip, honestly, is buying this dip on earnings ahead of next week interest rate decision and ahead of economy cooling down based on the economic data. So let's check what kind of economic data we have. Today we have personal income and personal spending. Honestly, it's quite flat. People is spending less month over month, spending almost the same. Wall Street was kind of expecting, forecasting a decrease. We didn't have that, and I think a lot of shorts jumped on this. I was not bearish, but I was quite concerned about this. And also the PCE price index month over month is flat, year over year is flat, price index year over year is also flat. So I think even though it's not as expected, maybe a slightly decrease, I think core CPI was quite bearish this morning. I think a lot of shorts maybe jumped on this. We were expecting 5, but we got 5.1 for year over year and flat on month over month. This is also key. Core PCE and PCE price index along with personal spending are one of the most important things for Fed to confirm, to justify a decrease in interest rate hike, because they will see demand destruction. So pending home sales month over month, look at this, from -2 to -10, so completely destroyed forecast. And year over year, we are seeing a completely smacked on home sales sector. Housing sector is being destroyed. And I think this is good for the current situation. It's not good for the housing sector, but don't worry, Feds will be seeing this with positive sentiment. And I think this will justify a lot of pivot in the near future. So you can see Michigan inflation expectations a little bit more. So people are still expecting higher inflation, sticky inflation, but the rest of the news this week, I think, are quite good. So we got new home sales lower than expected. We got GDP growth rate, so better economy than expected. Today, personal spending flat. We got home sales lower, being destroyed. And I think we also got early in the week, the Case-Shiller home price being destroyed, house price index lowering. So I think this week has been a good week for our sentiment, and I think Feds will be watching this data next week. I think the 75 basis points is confirmed for next week, but on December, based on this data and the last week data, I think Fed will be pivoting and we will be seeing 25 or 50 basis points on December, the last hike that Fed is doing for this year. So this is super bullish for the market. And I think people is already to notice that. And I think that's why we are super bullish today. Super bullish today. We are still pushing because I think people are FOMOing into stocks, are buying the dips because they are seeing a market change, a market sentiment change, and economic data is supporting a Fed pivot in the next couple of months. So good news for today. Let's see how we end up, because anything can happen, but this is looking good. Stocks, indices, dollars weakening, yields are pulling back, and I think we can maybe see with some positive sentiment in the weeks ahead, and for the final months of the year, we can start building some momentum to the upside. I think we are in a good spot to basically do a nice move next week. We will be watching 11,800 in the Nasdaq, but more importantly, this move on the SPI ahead of 39,400 and 4,000. 3,900 and 4,000 are key spots, and I think this is going to happen. This is coming. This kind of double bottom into push with economic data supporting demand destruction and earnings being mixed, I think this is good for the market. We'll see. That's my opinion. This is my update. Let's see how we end up at close. And thank you for your time. If you have any questions, you can comment down below. As always, if you found this video useful, please remember to click the like button and subscribe to the channel to receive notifications. Remember, I upload new videos every single day for market forecasts, market updates, and market recap. If you want to be aware of news, headlines, strategies, markets, sentiment, this is your channel. I appreciate your time and see you in a couple of hours with the market recap. Remember, the trading day is not over yet. It's looking quite good, very bullish, but anything can happen. Discipline and risk management are key for success. Stay safe, everyone.